It's a huge ordeal. If you have a senior loved one who's getting ready to move into a senior facility, there's a lot of layers here. That's why we talk to elder advisors, because they're the only ones with the answers, the experts. With us now is Larry Weiss, who is the president of Elder Advisors, and Lindsay Fleming, who is the senior vice president.
She's my boss.
Yeah, Lindsay's here and Larry is here. Okay, the word of the day you were telling me.
Word of the day. You know, I think it would be better if it comes from you, because you are the television voice for Kentuckiana. John Ramsey, what's the word of the day?
Protection is the word of the day. Protection.
Did you get that?
Protection.
Protection. Protection. Peace of mind, but protection. We try to offer protection to people and provide peace of mind. And I think that was demonstrated probably in real time with today, with the road trip that Miss Lindsay had today.
I did. I was like, I came running in. I came running in.
You went to Corden.
I was in Corden.
That's
with
my old
the
stomping
clients.
grounds.
They might be watching.
Old stomping grounds.
Right.
But yeah, and I was having a conversation with this gentleman, and like so many people do, you know, we don't make people money, right? It's not about making people money. It's about, you're at an age and a stage when you realize you want to hold on to what you've worked your entire life to do. And that's so important, and it's just such a relief to be able to look at families and say, we can protect that. We can take that off the table. We can leave legacy money for your family, so that even after you're gone, you know, your children are still enjoying the fruits of your very, very hard labor. So that's an important part of what we do.
What can possibly happen, Larry, if people do not call elder advisors or go to one of these workshops? Get the information at the very least. Get the information. But if they don't have the right information, it can be a horror story. You've seen it happen a lot.
It does, and we talked about it yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Is when a family comes in. I had the gentleman the other day when he came in, nothing but the car keys and sat on the table. That's usually a bad sign. That means he's on the outside looking in. So when I start talking to him, kind of triaging the case financially, trying to offer protection, I'm asking these questions and stuff, and he didn't know because he wasn't the power of attorney. And then I told him, well, then you need to engage an attorney, because you know what? I'm not a lumberjack. I'm not a brain surgeon. I'm not a UPS pilot. I'm also not an attorney. So if there's a legal component, I'll refer him and say, simply, you need to get legal counsel, find an attorney to prepare those documents, because you need power of attorney, because the bank is not going to talk to you. He said, oh, I know that. So he's already tried. So, you know, he had no idea what her income was, just nothing. I mean, this poor gentleman was really in the dark. And, you know, if you're going to get protection and peace of mind, you got to start stepping up. And that's what we talk about at the workshop. We're going to have tax CPA attorney Bob Marshall at our Kentucky workshop next Monday, talking about the legal nuances, because I'm not an attorney, and Laura Williams on the Indiana side talking about these very measures, because they are important. A lot of what we do is at the kitchen table. So we're trying to help tell families in a crisis plan, don't go broke in a nursing home. You know, for husband and wife, we can protect pretty much all the assets, and for a single person, about half. There's a different matrix for both set of facts. But it always starts for me at the kitchen table, because that's where pretty much everything is. We're looking at it. Then when there's that legal component, we always refer them to the attorney. But so much of it is just the kitchen table stuff, as Lindsay alluded to, just showing you how to hold on to it.
Which is interesting, which is what I was doing in Corden, right? Because I had Dad who was there, but I also had 2 adult children and their set of circumstances. And kind of what we discovered is, well, the strategy for Dad, for Mom and Dad, is much different than maybe the strategy we would work out for the 2 adult children. And so there's something for everybody at the workshop, and it's very, very important that you guys come out. The RSVPs have been rolling in. It looks like it's going to be a great crowd.
Autumn's been busy on the phone today.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Autumn.
So it's just a great time to come out, and we're going to touch a little bit on everything, but at minimum, you will feel better when you leave. At minimum, you'll have this just little nuggets of knowledge. It's like, I need to consider that. Even if you don't act, I need to consider that moving forward. And that can be important. That can make a difference between a major crisis and a minor inconvenience down the road.
You like education, educating people. Okay,
you have to know something.
And I think what they're going to be surprised about is when you hear this topic, you know, senior living and the cost, it's like, oh no, you cringe.
Yeah,
and you're saying you're going to get good news. You're going to feel better, as you mentioned, Lindsay, walking out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so to Lindsay's credit, when she met the family, it was an invitation. She'd had it standing for a couple weeks. Mom and Dad were of advanced age, and for the most part, they were taken care of. But a couple of the children were there as well. And so Lindsay, just in kind of talking to Mom and Dad, the kids were kind of like, well, take it back, Lindsay. You were there. I wasn't. But
well, it's just an opportunity to, because at the workshop, we kind of asked 3 questions, right? Who here is in crisis? Like, we're in a hospital stay, we're at a rehab stay, we're cutting checks for $9,000, $10,000, $11,000. Who's in crisis? Who's like the house is smoking, but it's not flaming yet, right? It's not fully engulfed. We're having more falls, more trips to the emergency room. That's sort of a pre-crisis. And then who's here just because they want to be proactive? Best time to plant the tree 20 years ago, second best time today. And that's really where the adult children were. Nothing is wrong with these adult children. They're perfectly happy, traveling around, health, God blessing, the blessing of health. There's things that we can do to protect them and protect their assets so the crisis never ever comes, right? They're just ready for it. And that's such a beautiful thing. And we can do that for you, Kentucky, and if you come out to the workshop.
Yep. Okay. So invite them to the workshop, and a lot of answers, a Q&A. I mean, it's all good. And
You're
it
going
moves.
to learn something even if you don't try.
Yeah, and it moves quickly. I mean,
Right.
I mean, I'll give you this,
It's
Larry. You are
fun.
entertaining,
I'm a beautiful woman. I don't mind telling you.
but the information is serious.
It is serious, and we make it in a fun way. You know, education is fun. It can be. But come out Monday, February 6th, 10 a.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn down by the Louisville Airport in Crittenden Drive, exit 132 off I-65, right next to the Cracker Barrel. And for Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn in New Albany, excuse me.
Clarksville.
Thank you, in
Don't go to
Clarksville.
New Albany.
I'm on new medication. So in any event, Tuesday, 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn on Broadway off Veterans Parkway for the Indiana people, Tuesday, February 7th at 10 a.m.
Or the Kentucky people that can't make it Monday, y'all. It's right across the
Absolutely.
river. Use the bridge.
Or what
That's
about the
it's there
Hoosiers? If
for.
they can't make it Tuesday, they can come
They
to
can-
Kentucky on Monday.
absolutely.
Don't be a hater.
Absolutely.
Right. We love everyone.
You do not have to get your passport stamped to
Right.
go from Indiana
There
to
you go.
Kentucky,
Right.
Kentucky to
This
Indiana.
is true.
That was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You know,
Very
you're
good.
just upstaging me all day. I'm going
sorry.
home. I want a Pop-Tart. I want a Pop-Tart. I'm going home.
Okay, what kind of information will you learn at the workshop? We'll talk more about that coming up. And yes, good information. Put money in your pocket. Mom and Dad worked hard for this, so make sure they can retain all of their assets. We'll talk about that next on Wade Listens.